I, 32M, need to share my story because I'm about to do something drastic and want to know if I'm making the right choice. This all started last year when my life changed completely after a car crash that left me blind. Chloe, 30F, and I met in college through mutual friends. She was studying accounting while I was majoring in computer science. We dated for 2 years before getting married, and everything seemed perfect for the first 5 years of our marriage. I worked as a senior software engineer at a tech company, making good money. Chloe worked as an accountant at a prestigious firm downtown. We bought a nice house in a good neighborhood and were planning to start a family soon. Our neighbors, Denzel, 35M, and Jessica, 33F, moved in next door about 2 years ago. Denzel owned a successful gym downtown and was known for being a high-end personal trainer to wealthy clients. His wife Jessica worked night shifts as an ER nurse at the local hospital. They seemed like a nice couple at first, though Denzel always came across as somewhat arrogant about his fitness achievements and business success. The accident happened 9 months ago. I was driving home from work on a Friday evening when a drunk driver swerved into my lane and hit me head-on. I don't remember much about the crash itself. I woke up in the hospital 3 days later and couldn't see anything. The doctors explained that the trauma had severely damaged my optic nerves. They said there was very little chance of recovery. Chloe appeared supportive during the first few weeks. She took time off work to help me adjust to being blind. But her attitude changed quickly once she realized this wasn't a temporary situation. I had to quit my job since I couldn't see computer screens anymore. Even though we were financially secure thanks to my disability insurance and a substantial settlement from the drunk driver's insurance company, Chloe seemed resentful about having to take care of a blind husband. That's when Denzel started coming around more often. At first, he offered to drive Chloe to work since they both headed downtown anyway. His schedule was flexible since he owned his gym. I thought he was just being neighborly, especially since Jessica was usually sleeping during the day due to her night shifts. But I started noticing changes in Chloe's behavior. She spent more and more time with Denzel, claiming he was helping her deal with the stress. Our house has thin walls, and I could hear them laughing and talking in our living room for hours. Sometimes I heard strange noises from our bedroom when Denzel was over, but Chloe always had excuses about moving furniture or cleaning. Things got worse over the next few months. Chloe became increasingly negligent about helping me. She'd leave me alone for hours without checking if I needed anything. She complained constantly about how hard it was to take care of me, even though she barely did anything. I had to learn to navigate the house by memory and use text-to-speech software to handle basic tasks. The turning point came when my younger sister Amy, 26F, visited 3 months ago. She lived in another state and couldn't visit sooner because of her job. Amy was horrified at how Chloe was treating me. During her week-long stay, she noticed that Chloe spent most of her time with Denzel while leaving me to fend for myself. Amy took me to several doctor appointments without telling Chloe. Chloe was so uninvolved in my care that she didn't even notice we were gone. One specialist told us about an experimental surgery that could potentially restore my sight. It was risky, but I was willing to try anything. Amy helped me arrange everything in secret, using part of my settlement money to cover the costs. The surgery was scheduled for the following month. Chloe never knew about it because she was too preoccupied with her walks and workout sessions with Denzel. Amy took leave from her job to take care of me during the recovery period. She told Chloe she was just visiting again to help out. The surgery was successful beyond our expectations. My vision started returning gradually over the next few weeks. We decided not to tell Chloe or anyone else until I could see completely. Amy stayed with me through the recovery, and we made plans for what I'd do once I could see again. 2 months after the surgery, my vision was almost back to normal. That's when I saw what had really been happening in my house. I came downstairs quietly one afternoon and found Chloe and Denzel having sex on our living room couch. They were so confident in my blindness that they didn't even bother to be quiet anymore. I managed to record some of it on my phone before quietly going back upstairs. I spent the next week setting up hidden cameras around the house. The footage I collected was shocking. They weren't just having an affair, they were completely disrespectful about it. Denzel would come over almost every day after Jessica left for her night shift. They used every room in our house, including our bed. They even talked about me sometimes, mocking my condition and laughing about how I had no idea what was happening. I've contacted a divorce lawyer and shown him all the evidence. Chloe still has no idea I can see again. She continues to treat me like a burden while sleeping with Denzel behind my back. I'm planning to expose them both in the most public way possible. My lawyer has confirmed that recording them in my own house is legal in our state. My plan is to livestream their next encounter on social media where all our friends, family, and colleagues can see what they've been doing. Amy thinks it's a brilliant idea and wants to help set everything up. Some might think this is too harsh, but I believe they deserve to be exposed for what they've done. I've learned that living with a disability doesn't mean I have to accept being disrespected and cheated on. I'm going to show Chloe and Denzel that karma has a way of making things right. The next update will be after I execute my plan. Update 1 first, I want to thank everyone who supported my plan to expose Chloe and Denzel. Last night, everything went exactly as planned, though the aftermath was even more dramatic than I expected. I spent the week preparing everything carefully. Amy helped me set up multiple cameras to ensure we'd capture everything from different angles. We created a new Facebook account and joined all the local community groups that Chloe, Denzel, and their friends were part of. We also made sure Jessica would be able to see the stream when it started. Friday night was perfect for the plan because Denzel always came over after Jessica left for her night shift at 7 p.m. Like clockwork, he showed up at 7:30. I was upstairs in my home office, pretending to be resting while Amy monitored the technical setup from her apartment nearby. She had helped me test the streaming equipment several times to make sure everything would work perfectly. Chloe and Denzel didn't waste any time. They weren't even subtle about it anymore, they started kissing right in the entryway. I started the live stream as they moved to the living room couch, the same couch where we used to sit and plan our future together. The viewer count started climbing immediately as people recognized them on their Facebook feeds. The comments started flooding in. People couldn't believe what they were seeing. Someone tagged Jessica within the first few minutes. Others started tagging Chloe's colleagues and our mutual friends. The video quality was crystal clear, there was no doubt about who was in it. I watched the viewer count hit 200, then 300. People were sharing the stream to other groups. Some were recording it. Chloe's best friend called her phone multiple times, but she was too busy to notice. Denzel's gym's Facebook page was being tagged repeatedly. The real show started when Jessica burst through our front door at 8:15 p.m. She had left her shift early after multiple people called to alert her about the stream. She still had her scrubs on and looked absolutely furious. Chloe screamed and tried to cover herself with a throw pillow, while Denzel jumped up and tried to find his clothes. That's when I made my entrance. I walked downstairs calmly, looked directly at them, and said, "Surprise. I can see you." The look on their faces was priceless. Chloe's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. Denzel tried to run for the door but Jessica was blocking it. Chloe started crying and babbling excuses. "It's not what it looks like. And I can explain." I just laughed and told her to save it for her lawyer. I mentioned that I had months of video evidence saved and timestamped. Denzel tried to threaten me about recording them without consent, but I reminded him that I had every right to record activities in my own home. Jessica was surprisingly calm. She looked at Denzel and simply said, "My lawyer will contact you tomorrow. Don't bother coming home." Then she turned to me and said, "Thank you for showing me what kind of man I married." She walked out with her head held high. Chloe switched from crying to begging. She claimed she only cheated because she was stressed about taking care of a blind husband. I couldn't help but laugh at that. I pointed out that she hadn't taken care of me at all. Amy had done everything while Chloe was busy sleeping with Denzel. I told her about the surgery and how she was so wrapped up in her affair that she hadn't even noticed I could see again. Denzel finally managed to get dressed and slinked out while Chloe was having her meltdown. By then, the stream had over 500 viewers. People were recording and sharing it everywhere. Chloe's phone was blowing up with calls and messages from family and friends who had seen everything. The aftermath was immediate and severe. Chloe's parents called me within an hour. Her mother was crying, apologizing for her daughter's behavior. Her father, who had always treated me like a son, said he was ashamed of Chloe and promised to support me through the divorce. Chloe's firm has a strict morality clause in their contracts. Her boss saw the video and called to inform her she was terminated effectively immediately. Apparently, they didn't want an adulterer handling their clients' accounts. The irony is that she had just been promoted last month. Denzel's business took an immediate hit. His gym's social media pages were flooded with comments from angry clients canceling their memberships. Several of his high-profile clients publicly cut ties with him. His business partner called to say they needed to talk about buying out a share of the gym. Chloe is currently staying with her sister. She's been trying to contact me through various friends and family members, but I've blocked her everywhere. My lawyer says I have an airtight case for a fault divorce with all the evidence. The prenup I insisted on has an infidelity clause that means Chloe gets nothing. Amy moved in temporarily to help me deal with everything. She's been amazing through this whole ordeal. Some people have criticized me for the public exposure, saying I should have handled it privately. But I don't regret anything. They humiliated me for months, thinking I was a helpless blind man who would never know the truth. They deserve to be exposed. I'll update again once the divorce proceedings start. There's more to this story that I recently discovered about their long-term plans for my settlement money. For now, I'm just enjoying the peace of not having to pretend I'm blind while my wife cheats on me in our own home. Update 2: A lot has happened since my last update, and I've discovered some disturbing information about Chloe and Denzel's plans. The aftermath of the livestream was far worse for them than I initially expected. Chloe has been living with her sister since I kicked her out. She's tried everything to contact me, creating new social media accounts, sending messages through mutual friends, and even getting her mother to plea on her behalf. I've maintained complete no contact except through our lawyers. The video spread far beyond our social circle, making her basically unemployable in our city. No accounting firm will touch her after the scandal. Denzel's life imploded spectacularly. His gym lost 70% of its members within 2 weeks of the livestream. Most of his wealthy clients cited moral concerns about continuing to work with him. His business partner initiated a forced buyout using their contract's morality clause. Denzel had to sell his share of the gym at a fraction of its value to cover the immediate losses. Jessica's divorce from Denzel is moving quickly. They had a prenup with a strict infidelity clause that he foolishly pushed for when they got married. Now it's coming back to bite him. She's getting the house, most of their assets, and he has to pay all her legal fees. She also filed a civil suit against him for emotional distress after finding out he'd been bringing his affair partners to their home. But here's the truly disturbing part that I recently discovered. During the divorce proceedings, Chloe's old phone was submitted as evidence. My lawyer found text messages between her and Denzel dating back to before my accident. They had been having an affair for at least 6 months before I lost my sight. The messages revealed their sick plan. After my accident, they saw an opportunity. They were going to wait until I was declared legally blind, then Chloe would convince me to grant her power of attorney. They planned to use my settlement money to start a new luxury gym franchise. Denzel had already begun looking at commercial properties. Chloe even discussed with Denzel about getting me declared mentally incompetent due to depression from my disability. They wanted full control of my assets. The messages showed them joking about how I would never know they were using my money to build their future together. The most shocking revelation was that Chloe had been secretly taking birth control while telling me she wanted to start a family. She told Denzel she didn't want to have a blind man's baby but needed to keep me hopeful about our future. Reading those messages made me realize I never really knew the woman I married. Amy has been crucial in helping me deal with all this. She's temporarily managing my new software project while I handle the legal proceedings. We're developing accessibility tools for visually impaired people, using my experience as inspiration. Several disability advocacy groups have already expressed interest in partnering with us. The local blind support group I joined during my recovery period has been incredibly supportive. After hearing my story, they shared similar experiences about partners taking advantage of their disabilities. We're now working together to create resources to help protect disabled individuals from financial exploitation. Denzel's professional reputation is completely ruined. The state fitness board is investigating complaints about him having inappropriate relationships with clients. 3 other women have come forward claiming he made advances while training them. His certification might be revoked. Chloe finally admitted to everything when confronted with the evidence. She tried to claim she really did love me but felt trapped after my accident. She said Denzel manipulated her into the plan to take my money, but the text messages show it was her idea originally. Her family has completely cut ties with her after learning the full extent of her betrayal. The divorce proceedings are moving forward quickly. My lawyer says we'll have no problem getting a fault divorce with the mountain of evidence we have. The judge was particularly disturbed by their plot to exploit my disability. He's expediting the case to protect my assets. I've started seeing a financial advisor to protect myself from future exploitation. We've set up additional safeguards for my settlement money and business assets. I never thought I'd have to protect myself from my own wife, but this experience has taught me to be more cautious. The next update will probably be after the divorce is finalized. Chloe and Denzel's lies have caught up with them in ways they never expected. As someone told me recently, sometimes karma needs a little help getting started, but once it starts rolling, it doesn't stop. Update 3: This will be my final update as everything has finally been resolved. The divorce was finalized last week, and I wanted to share how things turned out for everyone involved. Chloe got exactly what she deserved. The judge was particularly harsh after seeing the evidence of her planning to exploit my disability. Thanks to the infidelity clause in our prenup, she got nothing from the divorce. No alimony, no property, and no share of my settlement money. She tried to contest it, claiming emotional distress from caring for a disabled spouse, but her own text messages proved she never actually took care of me. Her professional life is completely destroyed. The video of her affair went viral in accounting circles, and now no firm in the state will hire her. She's working as a waitress at a truck stop diner on the highway, making minimum wage plus tips. Her sister finally kicked her out after catching her trying to steal jewelry to pawn. Last I heard, she's living in a cheap studio apartment and driving for food delivery apps to make ends meet. Denzel's downfall was even more spectacular. After losing his gym, he couldn't find work as a personal trainer anywhere in the region. His certification was revoked after multiple women came forward with complaints about his behavior. He defaulted on his car payments and had to declare bankruptcy when Jessica won her civil suit against him. He moved to another state and is working as a janitor at a high school. Quite a fall for someone who used to brag about training celebrities. Jessica, on the other hand, is thriving. She got everything in the divorce: their house, both cars, and a significant portion of Denzel's savings. She started dating one of the emergency room doctors from her hospital, and they recently got engaged. She sent me a thank you card last month, saying the livestream was the wake-up call she needed to get out of her toxic marriage. My own life has improved dramatically. The software company I started is doing incredibly well. We've developed several innovative accessibility tools for visually impaired users, and major tech companies are interested in licensing our technology. My experience with blindness gave me unique insights into what features are truly needed. Amy has been instrumental in the company's success. As our operations manager, she's helped secure partnerships with disability advocacy groups and rehabilitation centers. We're expanding to a larger office next month and hiring more developers. The irony isn't lost on me that losing my sight temporarily led to my most successful business venture. I've started dating again, taking things slow. My experience with Chloe taught me valuable lessons about trust and recognizing red flags. I'm seeing a wonderful woman I met through a business conference. She's a project manager at a tech company and understands my commitment to accessibility software. Unlike Chloe, she admires my dedication to helping others with disabilities. Some people still question whether the live stream was too harsh. Chloe's mother recently reached out, saying I ruined her daughter's life. I reminded her that Chloe and Denzel planned to steal my settlement money and have me declared mentally incompetent. Their plan would have ruined my life if I hadn't regained my sight. I don't regret exposing them. The blind support group I joined during my recovery has asked me to speak at their meetings about financial exploitation of disabled individuals. We're working on creating resources to help others protect themselves from similar situations. Something good came out of this terrible experience. Chloe still tries to contact me occasionally through new phone numbers or email addresses. I've maintained strict no contact and my lawyer handles any necessary communication. She made her choices, and now she has to live with the consequences. As for me, I'm focused on growing my business and moving forward with my life.